In not so good news is the Naira here, which is still going through some level of volatility, external, internal, right now.
Yes, the Naira is got to as high as 374 over the weekend, which is,
At
we
the,
haven't,
at the black
at the
market, as
black
it's
market,
called.
yes, I should
I
say.
don't know, I prefer parallel market.
Yes, at the black market, which is very, we haven't seen that in almost 18 months. So, but now it's at 370 per Naira. The CBN came out with a very aggressive statement that it is determined to stabilize the market, it is determined to boost Forex liquidity. And this week we expect various interventions from the CBN market. And this is the Naira has gained about 1% in the last 2 days. I think that is positive. That provides some sense of certainty for trade, those sectors that are reliable on Forex. So that is good news. However, what we have seen our external reserves increase by about 400 million in the past 2-3 weeks, but that is mainly due to reserves, the drawdown on our Eurobond proceeds. Proceeds from the Eurobond are just being credited.
$2.8 billion.
It's just being credited into the account, so it's nothing to smile about soon. But I think I should also mention that last week the US Fed signaled a more flexible approach to its interest rate increases in 2019. So that might signal perhaps lower, fewer interest rate hikes in 2019 than anticipated. So that would be positive.
I think the market is already digesting that possibility, and that might just be some good news for Nigeria, because again, if you look at the US 10-year yield, is now around just a little bit below 3%, came down to about 2.98, 2.95% the last time I checked this morning. So that means that market is pricing that in. Dollar just moved up on that. That means those fears around the Fed hike will be, maybe they're listening now to President Trump, hitting hard on Jerome Powell about the rate. I think that will give us a bit of a breather if that happens.
Most definitely, most definitely. It's positive for emerging and frontier markets, yes, and Nigeria being one of them, so it's positive for around for us.
Okay, let's look at what is in the agro, because of time. Let's check in with the agro industry. If you look at the global market, but first I would like, starting from home, charity begins at home. What can we do with the melon seed business for those who are watching, who are interested in this? Sometimes we talk about this agro entrepreneurship, sometimes some little ideas you may have, some things you could just practice behind your house or your residence where you live, depending on where that is anyway. So melon seed is the commodity in focus. This is a big business around the world, 1.1 billion US dollars. If I have a share of that, I don't mind.
Yes, it is gaining popularity now. It is gaining popularity. It is a very, very popular product to produce. It is very beneficial because it is resilient. It's very extremely resilient to diseases and crops. And the way it grows in a blanket manner, which provides sort of like a suppressor for weeds. So it's also used as
a weed control.
Yes, and it's also used used as an intercrop with other crops such as cassava, coffee, and so on. So it is gaining popularity. And contrary to popular belief, egusi is very healthy. It is very good for the body. It is rich in proteins and vitamins. It has some 7% of it is unsaturated fat, which is good for the heart. So it has a very compelling business
You
case.
did some research, taking some classes in nutrition.
Yes,
you did economic research. I never knew you taking those classes.
I did. So
maybe you're going online, learning a lot more about nutrition these days. I think everyone should add that to know how healthy the things we eat really are.
Yes, yes. But there is one deterrent. The market is very limited. The consumption market is very limited. Only Central African and West African countries consume egusi. So that is also a deterrent, so to speak, because the market
for millions of our brothers and sisters
in the diaspora.
diaspora.
That is fair, yes. So there's Nigeria. I'm sure there's Nigeria in almost every country. So there is a market for that.
So if you have a packaged egusi, for example, which comes in dry, right?
Yes. And
you can market that to folks in the diaspora, that's be good business. Whether it is grounded or whatever form it is, As long as it's dry, you can export it.
That is good news. And also one of the benefits is very easy to store. It doesn't spoil or waste easily.
Unless it gets wet.
Yes, so that is also one of the benefits of egusi. So there is a compelling case for egusi, and it only takes 3 to 4 months, which is a very short.
No, that's a compelling case. We're talking about 1.1 billion US dollars a deep.
That is a
lot. What is more compelling than dollars? Talking about $1.1 billion.
That is a lot.
I have a fraction of that, and I can own an egusi factory. Who cares? I don't need an oil factory. $1.1 billion?
Yes.
Oh, man. I'm going to have all of you over the barrel or plates of egusi soup. But again, if you look at the production in Nigeria, we're doing just about $693 million out of $1.1 billion. So that's not too bad if you consider, well, all our other problems that we have. But if you look at the domestic price, that's where I'm going. So folks, keep an eye on towards the end of that page. I'm sure you have your glasses on if you can read that very clearly. 3,200 naira per paint bucket. Domestic price for what we produce in Nigeria, that's huge.
That is huge, but prices have declined in the past month or so by 11% because this is the harvest time. We're in the harvest time. The harvest period usually lasts from October to December, so that's why prices are a bit softer now. So, but as we progress towards the early part of next year, prices should begin to rise, unfortunately. But at 3,200 naira, that is it's still expensive, to be honest. Still very expensive.
It's still expensive. But again, if you look at our production areas in Nigeria, you're talking about Benue, Enugu, and Nasarawa, we need to do away with some of those insurgency, problem with insecurity and all of that. Maybe some farmers could grow that. Anything, just about 1 minute, anything left, anything from on the soft commodity side, globally speaking? Cocoa is one where increased demand is likely to give us a boost in terms of our export earnings.
Yes, and that is even contradictory because at this time, this is the harvest season, we should begin to see prices be a bit softer because of increased output from the likes of West Africa. But strong demand, strong global demand is keeping prices very strong at this point of the year, and that is good news. That will increase our exports, forex inflows at this time of the year. So that
maybe chocolate consumption is going higher. I had 2 chocolates in the last 1 month. I can confess that live here on television. Part of those contributing to the price of cocoa. Thank you, Adim.
Thank you.
Have a great day, and you'll be back here on Thursday. I'll be right back after the break. Just 2 minutes. I'm not gone yet.